The knob just moved. The freaking knob just slightly moved out of the corner of my eye. I sit wondering if I had just imagined what I saw. Then I see it jiggle, indicating that someone is in fact behind the door. I guess they realized I was in here. Oh well, sorry buddy, early bird gets to drain the worm first. Then it rattles again 2 more times. A chill starts to go down my spine. I try listening for an apology or at least an acknowledgement of my presence, but all remains completely silent. Suddenly, the handle on my bathroom door rattles repeatedly, and all I can do is helplessly gaze at it. I sit quietly on the toilet for a couple of moments in complete shock, hoping it will just go away after a couple of seconds. It doesn't. The entire time, my eyes stare blankly at the small brass shape as it wiggles again and again. This isn't normal behavior, not at all. Normal would be someone turns the door once, and they'd realize it's locked the first time and stop. I mean, it's an action that takes a split second to do, and then we don't ever need to do it again. The message is blatantly clear. The door's locked, someone is already in here, come back later. But that's not what's happening. No, what's happening is that someone or something keeps trying the door. Something. Could it really be something not human? My mind begins to fill with impossible imagery of what horror could lie behind that single inch of wood, waiting for the moment I snap and come out rushing through the door and into its patient grasp. What could possibly be waiting outside for me at 1:45? A monstrous beast? A writhing bundle of rotten worms? Otherworldly beings come to take me to some far-off distant dimension? No, what am I talking about? That's ridiculous. No, it must be human. It has to be human. The door handle continues to twitch. Okay, so if it is a person, then who is out there? I consider asking that very question to whoever is already continuing to batter the door. But since I have not said a word already, it's probably occurring to them that I may not possibly be in here, or at the very least, I'm not interested in talking to them. Actually, neither have they spoken since first attempting to open the door. I lost track of time. How long have they been standing there? And how long have I been sitting here doing nothing? I mean, it's probably only been 5 minutes, but it certainly feels longer than that. 15 then? Maybe 20? And why have neither of us spoken? You know what? It must be my brother. Only he would have the sense of humor to try and burst through the door while I'm going to the bathroom. I think that's why I locked the door in the first place. Once again, I consider calling out to him and crushing my fears for good. But he's rarely this persistent on such a prank. Surely I'd have heard him chuckle a bit and say a comment or two about me finally learning to lock the door. My cheeks start to flush white a little as a terrible thought arises. Couldn't someone have just as easily broken in? And maybe even killed my brother and has now come for me? The thought of being trapped by a madman in a bathroom with my possibly slaughtered brother in the next room made my stomach churn a bit. But what else could it be? I mean, if it's not my brother at the door, then it's clearly someone who should not even be there. Okay, so it's some psychotic maniac who's gone on a killing spree and has now aimed his sights at my brother and I. If so, then why is he so sure I'm even in here in the first place? How could he have known there were 2 of us and not just one? I don't have a car, and I've been sleeping on the couch, so there's only one bedroom, and there's no evidence that I live there. The handle continues to make its unnerving rattle. I consider turning off the light to hide myself in the dark, but then I stop in my tracks. If he could even see the light underneath the door, he has surely stood there long enough to probably see it, and would definitely spot the change, and it would confirm his suspicions that I was in here. So, I guess so far the best course of action is to do nothing. I get up and pull my pants, and I decide to sit on the floor, cross-legged, and stare puzzled at the door. Okay, it's definitely been a while since this started, and I've just realized. If this was some deranged killer hell-bent on wearing me as a coat, then wouldn't he have just taken his infamous weapon of choice and just burst down or chopped down the bloody door saying, "Here's Johnny"? But instead, this guy is just trying to turn the knob again and again. Wait a minute. Couldn't it be a cop? Could the police have chased this son of a bitch away and are now gathering evidence? Could they be discovering my brother's possibly dismembered body and taking prints and photos? I mean, if so, then they must be quieter than mice. Not making so much as a peep when they're about. I mean, shouldn't I be hearing the stomping of steel-toed boots and loud chatter between the officers? And if one is standing here trying to open the door, shouldn't he be, kicking it in and announcing himself, not just standing there for 20 minutes trying the door? Maybe they took shifts. The thought of having a series of officers standing single file trying to unlock this door, like knights trying to pull a sword from the stone, made me giggle to myself a bit, of course making sure I didn't make a sound. Right, I bet they got the entire force... There was a knock on my door. I slowly lift my hand and gently press my ear against the door. Another knock blasts across the ground and sends me cringing back. I look for a place to hide, but the only place is the shower. I quickly climb in, being very careful not to make a sound. I feel my feet kissing the frigid pearl-white floor of the tub and peek from behind the shower curtain. The door knocks loudly a few more times, each within about 10 or so seconds between them. They rang so noisily in the bathroom, I thought the door might shatter with each hit, but it never budged. It never broke. It never opened. The door handle began to shake again, only faster and much more violent. It doesn't stop. I grab a decorative and rather large conch shell and fit it readily as a last-minute knuckle duster. If they do get in, I'm not just going to lie down and die. So for now, all I can do is wait. Wait here quietly until whoever is outside breaks in or finally gives up and leaves, so I can rest. It feels like an hour goes by and the relentless fidgeting never ceases. And just as sleep is about to begin and seize my eyelids, the jerking stops abruptly. My eyes widen with relief. I sit up and look at the door handle. Could it really be gone? I wait for the moment when the sudden burst shatters through the door before me, but it never comes. Could it really have given up? No. How do I know that it's not just sitting outside waiting for my false sense of security to convince me to come out into the open? That's it. Yeah, that's it. I found your plan. And no, you're not going to get me that way, you fool. You know what? Just as a precaution, I'm just going to spend the rest of the night right here and just wait until sunrise. Hopefully my brother is still alive, and when I tell him everything, he'll probably think I'm crazy. But hey, as long as I'm still alive, right? They could take me and shackle me all they want, but I'm not leaving this room until I hear a friendly, familiar human voice. And so I will sit with my conch shell and stare at this knob for the rest of the night, waiting for it to resume its methodical rhythms. And just as I'm about to surrender myself to this insanity, I finally hear the pitiful whine of a dog. My brother's dog, Roxo, a pit bull. I finally hear him scratching at the front door and whining for me to come out. I smile and I slowly unlock the door and creak it open just a bit. Sure enough, in the crack of light I release into the dark hallway, I see those sad, lovable puppy eyes on him. No monster, no serial killer, no cops. I open the door wide to reveal a dozen scratch marks on the bottom of the door and by the handle. He must have been trying to open the door that whole time. The bangs on the door must have just been his tail wagging while banging on the door. I look at him in awe. You silly dog. You scared the shit out of me. Was that you trying the door? Where'd you learn to do that, buddy? I pet his head and he licked my wrist. Whoa, hold up there, bro. I still need to wash my hands. I go and wash my hands really quick and splash water on my face. I turn to look at the door. Wow, Roxo, you did a freaking number on that door here. We're going to have to trim your nails and maybe sand and repaint this door. He comes over and licks my face for a few minutes before I get up and turn off the light and close the door behind me and make my way down the dark hallway. And then I hear the bathroom door jiggle.